how do we know what is safe in terms of storing breast milk? So whether it's you sitting in the hospital and you're pumping and putting it next to your bed, or you pumped out and you're keeping it in the fridge, or you're actually going to store it in the freezer. So at room temperature, it can be on the counter for 4 hours, and then in the fridge for up to 4 days, and then in the deep freeze for 6 months. They say, so the researchers say up to 12 months, but the longer you keep it, it does have an impact, it does change, and so the fresher you use it, the better. It is important to keep in mind that our climate in South Africa is, particularly at the moment, very warm, and so you should err on the side of caution in terms of storing it at room temperature for too long. In colder countries, it's obviously safer, but the other thing to keep in mind is that whatever you're storing it in needs to be well cleaned. So your breast milk can be fine, but it can be stored in a container that wasn't properly cleaned, and that makes it less safe in terms of storage. We were talking about storing breast milk and how long you can keep it at room temperature and so on. And one of the things that's fascinating, when researchers looked at bacterial count in a bottle of breast milk on a counter and then compared it to the bacterial count with a bottle of formula on the same counter, the bacteria that's in both of those containers, obviously from the container itself, from the atmosphere, the count in the breast milk bottle actually decreases first before it starts to increase. And so the live factors in the breast milk actually kills the bacteria first before those live factors, as the breast milk gets older, start to weaken. Whereas in the formula, at room temperature on the counter, the bacterial count starts to increase immediately. So I think that's helpful background when we're thinking about keeping breast milk at room temperature, using it again, and also being very careful if we're using other milk, and being careful not to reuse it or store it at room temperature. But the live factors are absolutely amazing in terms of protecting your little one and trying to keep that bacterial count as low as possible.